Yeah, we could fix it in post. One of my favorite things about the last podcast is because like I was on an actual good mic. I sound really fat. Like you could hear so much of my breathing. I sound like for the audience's context, I am like probably about 310, 320 in real life. But it makes me sound like I'm pushing like 4 bills. And
that is where I was thinking you were gonna go with that.
Dude, that's
the nice mic makes you sound fatter.
Dude, like I don't know if you listen to that very well, I mean, you edited it, so I'm gonna assume you know what I'm talking about. But you can hear my breathing throughout the entire podcast.
So part of the problem. We just started clipping. I gotta turn down our gain.
Okay.
I'm just gonna play it real safe, and I can turn it up a lot in post if need be. But you're gonna go down to like here, and then that's fine. All right.
Okay.
We shouldn't have any. Yeah, I don't see any red bars. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, but part of the problem, right, is that in order to get like even levels for podcasts, I throw a fair amount of this is I'm gonna allow myself a quick audio geek thing here. I throw a decent amount of compression on our vocals, more so than I would if we were like singing. And one of the downsides of compression is that so this time it might actually sound way better because when you're recording in a really open space, the compression brings up the room, the room of the noise of the room. So all the echo and reverb and like that like low boomy, not nice to listen to shit unfortunately comes up a little bit. But it's like I think it's worth it to not have parts of the because one thing that turns me off from listening to podcasts is when it's like watching a movie where they make the action scenes like not like twice as loud, but like 10 times as loud as the dialogue scenes. And I'm constantly changing the volume on the TV. I fucking hate that. And I hate it when I'm driving and listening to a podcast. And this is my biggest critique with some of the Barstool podcasts I listen to, like the baseball ones. It's like we're in fucking 2022. You guys are a media company and you have shitty ass mics and people aren't editing the audio properly. Like, how is that?
Dude, it's part of the Barstool ethos, though, because they don't give a fuck. Like, they don't care, and you're still listening anyway.
Fucking
yeah,
crazy.
It drives you crazy, but, you know, not to be that guy, but you're also pretty neurotic about this audio stuff. I mean, like, I'm glad, but, I mean, you are.
No, I totally am. But I'm not even talking about, like the crackling and the hissing that they need to deal with. I'm talking about levels that, like, you don't need to be an audio nerd to understand that as... the point of a podcast is not to have a verse and a chorus. Like it should be at the same level of volume the whole time. Yeah. That's not a hard thing to understand. And I shouldn't if there are parts of the podcast where I'm like it's so loud that it's like almost hard like if I'm in the car and it like is beginning to reach that point of like kind of like giving me a small headache. But I have to have it that loud because the quiet parts that's when I can hear them or vice versa. Like like, I'll just, like, stop listening. I'm like, fuck this.
Nice.
So, yeah, just, you don't even need to have, like, super high quality, and you don't need to do all the effects and shit. Like, just do a little bit of leveling, people. It's not...
Barstool, you're being called the fuck out.
I'm not talking straight into the mic as I go on this rant. Oh, my God. That's funny. Just talking into the side of the mic. I'm going to sound so stupid.
I'm talking to the front of the mic, right? Am I talking? I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, all right. Damn.
Damn, I wish I hadn't. When I realized, I wish I hadn't said anything because then I could pull it off as like an ironic joke. But now that I like realized and got embarrassed,
ironic,
it's
dude. That's too deep in. That's too far.
Yeah, maybe one person out there would find it funny, but. Yeah, well, anyways.
So anyway, I sound fat, which is awesome.
I also, well, no. Too much audio nerd shit. Next topic. I'm not going to talk anymore about audio. Yeah, I guess. But do I sound fat? Because I've always been on that mic.
No, it's the actual reason why is I have a big nose and a massively deviated septum. I can only breathe out of one nostril, so my breathing just sounds fucked up all the time.
Yeah, you're like the Noah. But then I had surgery to get that fixed.
Dude, I think I gotta get surgery to get it fixed. And maybe I'll get my giant schnoz fixed too, and just brought down to a largish but more regular size.
More regular size
schnoz. We'll see. Fuck around and find out. I don't think insurance covers that. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I think that counts as cosmetic.
Ah, fuck. Question though about audio nerd shit. What headphones do you use on like a day-to-day basis?
So the headphones I would recommend are very different than like casual listening headphones.
So from what I understand, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, do you have like your studio headphones and then your casual listening headphones?
I'm like, no, because I'm too much of a. You asked, so I'm not gonna worry about sounding like a fucking pretentious nerd here. Like I'm just too much of a purist where I can't listen to music on beats or anything like that. Which part of the draw of a lot of like headphones that are made to like, you know, use in the gym or for when you're exercising or even just when you're like casually listening is that they don't have a flat response. They like boost certain areas or cut certain areas based off of the tendency of songs and what. So I just like, I can't stand it. Like I'm just too much of an audio purist. So I buy shit. The only shit I buy is shit which is meant to be the most flat as possible. So like they're basically, I mean, they sound really good. Like you'll put on the headphones and like, it's not like the music will sound bad, but it's not necessarily what I would recommend for someone who's just like casually listening to things. It's like these speakers you can get speakers for less money that are going to, when you play music on them, it's going to be probably more fun to listen to. Like the whole point of the expensive ones I have is just that they're as flat as can be. So like, I actually don't really know like what kind of shit to recommend because I don't, what's
like your daily driver? You can drop like a model name here.
Right. The Audio Technica, I can't even remember.
THM50.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Those, I use Sony at work. And those are both, one of the next things in my musical upgrades is I do want to upgrade headphones. Those are in like the $150 range, and I want to move up to headphones in the like $300-$400 range. But those are also like closed back, so they, in theory, block a lot of the outside noise and don't bleed as much. I want to get open ones because they're more pure. But yeah, that's my. So honestly, I would like a high quality, like open, like. Well, I guess it depends. Are you worried about other people hearing what you're listening to?
Let's say that I am. Yeah.
Then definitely stick with closed or noise canceling. I mean, like Bose noise canceling headphones are phenomenal for listening to shit. Just like they block. And the other great thing they do is you don't even have to listen to anything. When you're on a plane and you throw it on, it's like all of a sudden that's such a satisfying thing. Like that hum of the airplane just disappears. Oh, it's so nice.
Dude, yeah. For context here, I bought a bunch of tech today, but I spent like $3,000, some of which on tech, some of which on not. I bought a pair of AirPod Pros. I don't know, but it's mostly for the flex. No, I know they're not top of the line.
No, they are for what they are for being a bud. Yeah. They're the highest quality by a mile, in my opinion. Of buds.
Okay.
Like the only if I'm working out and I have to listen to or use buds of any form, I'll only use the Apple ones because everything everything else I've ever listened to has sounded like shit. But granted, I haven't tried some of the higher ends of, like I know Shure has a bud thing that's supposed to be good, and I know there's other companies, so I'm sure it's not just Apple, but compared to like in
that price
like Ear
range,
Candy or something like that,
dude, that
fucking
shit is
brand,
garbage.
Yeah, shit's terrible.
No, granted, I also spent like $200 on them or whatever, so it fucking better be worth it. But it has active noise cancellation, so you know.
No, they're really good. I mean, the thing is just that it's like good luck not losing them. That's the hard part.
I have never lost the only time. So I have the AirPods currently, just the normie, I think the Gen 1s. I have never lost any of them except for the time I went for a run and I put the case in my pocket, not realizing that the pocket was ripped.
Oh, yeah.
And I lost the case. But other than that, I've kept it for, I think, 18 months I've had it now. So I'm good, dude. I'm very meticulous with my technology.
My left ear, there's something about the shape of it. Like, earbuds won't stay in my left ear. They just fall out all the time. And if I push them in enough where they'll stay, it really hurts.
Do you have you used like a wingtip one? Like it's got like a little thingy that kind of like loops up into like part of your ear cavity, so it kind of like sticks in a little better.
The one that sticks up in. I've used the ones that go around like this part of your ear, like
yeah,
outside.
I'm kind of explaining it poorly. I'll show you a picture later, but like for the listeners, the Beats Fit Pro are like an example.
Yeah. I've used shit like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's so much more comfortable for me to use headphones that the majority, like one thing, because of how much of an audio, like without even realizing it, I've developed an ability to just never be insecure about wearing bulky headphones in a place where other people are just using like AirPods. Like I don't, when I had my internship and I was working out of a fucking WeWork in Brooklyn, New York, like everyone, good luck showing up without your AirPods in.
Yeah.
And I just whip out my bulky headphones as I'm on my computer all day long. And I would like, people would like sort of joke about it, but I just like, I could care less. I'm like, I'm not going to put myself through 7 hours of pain to listen to something that sounds worse just to fit in.
Yeah. So when you go to the gym now and stuff, like do you wear over ears?
I generally speaking don't train with music.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Is there a reason for that, or is it just because like you don't care?
There is a
Let's still
so for
right, even
yes,
okay,
yeah, no, it's good. So there's really what it is that there's just a burnout factor for me with music, how much I do in my free time and how much I listen to all the time, that I find myself just like my ears need that time as a break.
Yeah.
And more than anything else, I have headphones on so much of my day that I don't think it's healthy, and I'm trying to like constantly worry about volume. And it's one of those things where like sometimes my lifts are better with music, but other times I get in ruts where I start listening to the same thing over and over again, and it like somehow it like brings down my mood.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've been there. You gotta,
Yeah, and I don't like that feeling, and so I like what I like to do is just, because the other thing is when I'm listening to music, that inevitably means I'm bringing my phone. And if I'm bringing my phone, a workout that could be done in half an hour to 45 minutes will take an hour to an hour and a half or whatever. So like I feel when I'm in a real good groove, usually I roll up, leave my phone in the car, and just go grind for half an hour or 45 minutes, and just put all my focus into it, use it as like an almost like meditative break.
yeah.
And
Now I gotta ask, like, what style of training do you do? Are you more of like a volume bent or like an intensity bent, or like what's kind of your?
I like to, I mean, I like at this point, I care less about like what is optimal for muscle growth than I do just about like feeling good and pushing myself hard for a relatively short period of time. Like the other thing for me is when I'm like working full time, or you know, in school or any of that shit, like doing 6 days of training and training for like an hour to an hour and a half, like pretty hard.
Yeah.
My body just can't recover. It's too much stress on my body, and
yeah.
I just overload. So I really am a fan of basically taking like 3 to 4 days worth of workouts and splitting them up ever so slightly, splitting them up so that they take like 6 days, and then just doing like half an hour to 40-minute
so
workouts.
You got like 6 like
and I go
short
pretty
workouts,
and I go pretty low rest and just push myself really hard. And I prefer the style of like on my first and second exercises, like on my final sets, like I'm beginning to actually push towards failure like right away. And it's just how I prefer to train. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people who would say it's not the best way to train.
Yeah, dude. Unless you're competing, like who gives a fuck about what's optimal?
I don't
Like
fucking
you're
care.
doing this for fun.
Yeah, I'm doing
basically,
it for fun.
and stay healthy, and you know.
More than it, yeah. It's at this point, like it's just about like energy, like it's energy and just like feeling healthy and feeling like I have a clear mind and not feeling groggy.
Yeah.
Because as we've discussed so many times on here, and we don't need to go into it again, like I'm like each and every day I'm realizing more and more that like training, there's a difference between training to like feel good and look good and like the extreme of that, where it's like it replaces. It's a way of like procrastinating all the other things that I actually want to do with my life, like spending time with people and going out and trying new things and all these things. It's just like, well, I'll do that when I'm 7% body fat and I'm only 9% and I can't do it.
You can like really like mind fuck yourself.
Yeah, and it's a total. It's so I'm trying to be like, unironically, like I'm trying to remind myself every day, like. There are like the meme of like dudes with dad bods who fuck. It's like I need to like actually remind myself of that on a regular basis.
Well,
and be like, stop this. There's no. I shouldn't try and be fat. That's not my goal. I want to be healthy and feel good. But honestly, at this point in my life, now that I'm in my mid-20s and not a teenager anymore, like, I imagine it'll only get stronger this way as I progress in age. Like the only way I'm gonna actually consistently train anymore is if it's 100% to make myself feel better, not to try and impress anyone else. And I know that's gay and cucked and all that shit, but whatever.
I mean, it is, but it's not, right? The other thing, I think, the whole like dad bod thing is worth considering, but I think the more important thing is like realizing that you're not going to regress. Just if you're like, because there's this constant fear of like, I'm gonna work out less hard and lose all my gains, and it's just not gonna happen. Like, so if you're feeling like so neurotic that you're at a point where you're like, I can't enjoy life until I hit X goal, like take a step back, take your training down to like 2 days a week of lifting, like seriously, and reconsider your fucking priorities, because it's not gonna help you. Now if you're lifting because you love lifting, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But if you think it's gonna like help you get laid or help you like be cool or help you like yourself more, it's not.
Yeah, I hate to break it to, what I needed to have broken to myself was like, and I don't. So much of this shit's so obvious, so it almost feels meaningless to talk about. But it's like,
yeah, it's really not.
No matter how lean and big I got, I'm not all of a sudden gonna have like, yes, I will be more attractive than if I didn't exercise at all, but I'm not magically gonna turn into like the dudes on TikTok whose jawlines are like 0.01% genetics and like have zero acne and like perfectly
you're
white
never gonna
teeth.
wake up and
like
be
none of that
David
shit's
Blade.
just
It's not
gonna
gonna happen.
I'm not gonna. And like those, you have to. There's a certain level of attractiveness where you're in like the 1% or some percentage. I don't know what it is. Where then it's like, okay, your personality actually doesn't fucking matter. But for 99% of people, it does. Yeah. So, yeah. So, anyways, that's enough of that fucking shit. But yeah, I don't really listen to. What I will listen to, if I do listen to something, is I will listen to podcasts while I'm lifting. Just as a sort of like background noise, like nothing on like a serious topic. It'll be like a sports podcast or something. And it's just sort of like something to in the background. So, because I don't like listening to other people lift. God.
Podcast about lifting. Just drive me fucking bananas.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
No, I meant like I don't like listening to the people next to me lifting.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like
that's a weird vibe.
And I don't like listening to like. There's something so it just like it gets at me in a weird way, like the people who like see each other in the gym every day and they're like yo, what's up, dude?
What's poppin', bro?
And they do all these fucking claps and all that shit. I'm just, it makes me want to just like run away and fucking hide. I hate being around those people.
Dude, I haven't been in a public gym since the summer of 2019. And that is the only time I've been in a public gym since maybe 2014. Let me tell you, dude, that shit is wild.
Public gyms suck.
It's terrible.
They fucking suck. They're so bad. So yeah, I'm only going a couple times a week. I'm doing a fair amount of just like at home like push-ups, burpees, going for like I don't know, fucking going for a jog.
Yeah.
Like shit, just like balancing it because I don't have it in me to lift all that often. But anyways, yeah. That's enough of the same topic that comes up every fucking time.
Dude,
time to talk about, well, let's see. There's two people who I want to touch on. And the first
Okay. All right.
Why? What got that reaction?
I don't know. It's just like it's just the idea of like you have this grudge out for two people, and we're gonna fucking call them out. Dude.
Well, no, I don't really have a huge. It's just like I don't know. I haven't usually come with topics prepared, but partly is because I haven't been consuming a ton of just like political content and shit online. But this week in particular, the Joe Rogan controversy and the fucking Jackson Hinkle Sam Cedar debate just have been driving me nuts.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's start with Jackson Hinkle and
Let's start with
Sam
Jackson.
Cedar.
Did you watch the debate?
I did not watch the debate. I watched that other Sam Cedar debate that you sent me. But
Yeah. So debate is an interesting word for it because my understanding of what happened is that basically Sam like took a phone call with like a kid who he didn't know. Sam didn't like prep for this. Like it was like a debate.
was that phone call? Was that Jackson Hinkle?
No.
Okay.
No. But Jackson was promoting it on his social media for like 2 weeks and being like 10 days out from the Sam Cedar debate, 9 days out from the Sam Cedar debate.
So he was like in this kid's corner.
Wait, what?
He was in this kid's corner. He was like trying to pump him up that he was gonna like that this guy was gonna call into Sam.
No. Sam wasn't pushing this. Jackson was.
Yeah. No,
but Sam like didn't know who he was.
Jackson was in this kid's corner, hyping him up for his call in.
No. Just forget the kid who I sent you a video to.
Okay, all right.
I'm talking about Jackson himself.
Okay,
had a
all
very similar
Okay.
call to this other video of this other kid who was even dumber, right? But Jackson, I don't understand. I don't know exactly how the scheduling worked, but it was something like Sam takes calls as part of his show and allowed Jackson to like schedule a time to call in or something.
Okay.
And Jackson was prepping for it like it was like a Politicon debate and promoting it on his socials like it was a big time debate where everyone was going to be prepping and all this shit. And Sam was like, I don't fucking know who you are. Like, so that's where like calling it a debate is really fucking.
It's like the Mad
it
Men.
just drove me fucking nuts. But Jackson was like prepping it and hyping it up. And I don't know. I think I should send you a few clips to watch before next episode. Maybe we can go a little bit more in depth because there's so much fucking context and backstory to this kid. Because he's a genuine psychopath. And I'm not like, that's not a joke. He is a full blown.
You think
Jackson Hinkle is a full blown psychopath.
Okay.
The dude is off the fucking rails. Like he is obsessed with getting clicks and with getting internet clout. And there's like everything that I've been insecure about in my life and tried to like deal with in a potentially like unhealthy way of like either like I don't know, being in high school and being like, I'm gonna start an anti-SJW YouTube channel and fucking own the libs and like the like lifting shit instead of like going out and socializing and just so many things that we've talked about, maybe that we haven't talked about, all come together into this fucking thing that is Jackson Hinkle.
Yeah.
And the dude is legitimately insane. And just a full blown like grifter. Like just he doesn't he's just saying whatever will get him clicks and he doesn't actually believe anything he says. Like no one. First off, the dude's born in 1999.
So he's younger than both of us.
He's younger than fucking both of us.
Which is crazy.
And yeah, and he's all of a sudden the person who decides whether or not someone's actually on the left. But he also like says shit like he said the other day like he's probably gonna vote for Republicans this time.
Oh
around.
my god.
So like he's
oh no.
So he's full blown. He's gone so fast down the like path of like I'm too left for the left that I'm now left
right.
with no choice but
like
to vote for right wingers.
Theory is actually real.
Yeah, but what's so dumb about it, right, is there's this clip that was circulating all over Twitter, and this is just one of the things that I want you to watch for the context. But like he said this thing on one of his streams recently. Where he's like, yeah, like I've voted for Republicans in the past, and I'll probably vote for Republicans this time. And the dude's born in fucking 1999, so he's eligible to vote
dude, you haven't-
in 2020 and 2018. And there's like the other thing, dude, about posting shit online is like there's a video of right around the 2020 election of him posting a TikTok that's like a 45-second like just reeks of like libcuck energy. He's like, look, we gave Donald Trump a chance, but here's why he was wrong on everything. We've got to vote for Joe no matter what. Like the dude hasn't voted for a fucking Republican before. He's just saying that shit to appeal to anti-vaxxers and to try and just build his audience. And like every fucking video he posts, he just spams the comments. And every live stream, he's like spams the chat and talks about it all the time. Like, YouTube has demonetized my stream. Here's my PayPal. Here's my Venmo. Here's my Patreon. Here's my subscribe to the fucking channel. Tag Sam Cedar in this. Tag Hassan in that. Get me more clicks. Get me like he's obsessed with nothing but clicks and doesn't give a shit what he's saying. He's just will say whatever will get him fucking clicks. So the dude just it like makes me like it gets me so mad. But I think it's more sad than it is anything else. Like this kid is just lost.
But you can save him.
No, I can't fucking save him. What the fuck does he care what I have to say? I don't think I'm gonna change his mind on anything. But like, it's just I think it's a sad state of like. I think what it is, and the importance of talking about him is that there's like so many kids nowadays, and not just nowadays, but always, right? Like. There's a trend where young people tend to be more further from the center. And as you age, you on average move closer to the center. So there's like two paths for like young, like white guys who are struggling with like all the shit that we struggle with of just like anxiety and depression and all this shit that everyone struggles with. But like to talk about him specifically, like, so you can go the like Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro route, whatever, become a like white nationalist, fascist, whatever the fuck, Nick Fuentes. And, you know, closest you've been to fucking a girl is coming on a live stream, the fucking whatever that quote was. But like, so there's that route. And then the other route is like leftism to varying degrees of craziness to maybe not so crazy, right? But it's like those are the two paths that are like, fuck the system. The system's out to get me. Like, and you can turn both narratives into like nothing's my fault. Like everything around me is fucking me over, and you know, it's very easy on the right wing route to be like, white people are being whatever, oppressed or fucking targeted or whatever. You know, white men aren't allowed to like have opinions anymore, man. Whatever the fuck. And then there's like but where I think like the left needs to watch out is for a lot more Jackson Hingles to come, where there's like I think the dude genuinely has like, I don't know. He has either severe social anxiety, he struggles with like something where like, cause he streams every evening, 7 days a week. Like his weekends are filled with streaming. Like the
dude is not engaging with the real world.
Yeah. The dude is lost.
He is not touching grass, as they say.
Yeah. But he like lifts a ton. Like he's pretty fucking jacked. If you see him, like he posts photos of him flexing all the time.
Well, you can be jacked and be a fucking weirdo. I mean,
that's my point. Right, is like
right.
Him going out is going to the gym. It's not socializing.
Yeah, that's not going
out.
Yeah.
It's all the shit I've seen, like shit I've, and I, you know, we were briefly chatting about this last night. It's like shit I see in myself and things I don't like about myself taken to the extreme with him. And I think that's why it drives me so bonkers. But I think that there's a real path for like, you know, part of the left message, right, is like corporate center neoliberal America is out to get you, and they're constantly screwing you over, and they're constantly talking down to you, and they're not actually working for you once they're in office, and they, you know, they say things they don't actually mean because they're all bought out and this, that, and the other thing. And of course, I just so happen to be a person who tends to agree with that narrative, but it can go, you need to recognize, right, that like if you keep pushing that, there's going to be people who aren't happy with their situations in life, and then they're going to go and take it to the extreme where literally no one is good enough for them, and they're going to keep.
Yeah.
So then when it evolves into like AOC and the Squad and Nina Turner and you know the majority of people on the left on the online space are just like liberals and like they're just as bad and all this.
Yeah.
Like you get so lost in this shit that I think that there's a real path, and I don't think this is. And it's probably not new, but there's a very real path to extreme right wing.
Oh, for sure.
Fascist shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where, like, if we don't it's not to say like we need to make an effort to start making white guys feel included. That's not my point. I think it's more just one of like
because let's
recognizing
be honest,
like mental health struggles as a general problem with young people and the reality of like the great parts of social media, the best parts about them are things which allow us to come together with people who we have real relationships with and connect with. And of course, there's more than that. You know, I can learn guitar online. Like there's all sorts of good shit, but it's so easy to get to get so lost in all this stuff that we lose all sense of one, reality, two, like social skills, like three, healthy habits, all this shit where we're going to create more and more of this, just like it's going to evolve into a point where we're not that far out from like what is considered like the modern like left. There's going to be this like wave of 20-year-olds who are like, they're just neoliberals. Join us on the fucking, and then they're gonna like band together with like the fascists or whatever.
Dude,
and you're gonna see Jackson Hinkle, Nick Fuentes doing live streams together.
Yeah,
and like Jackson having a woman on who's like, he had some woman on. I've never heard of her, but on his live stream the other night, and she's like, oh, you know, like a female activist or something. Like she said, in the past she's like voted. Because she's voted for politicians on issues because she's like pro-choice and like all this shit that's like traditionally maybe liberal. But she's like, this election, I am a one-issue voter. Vax mandates, they are the worst thing to happen in the history of American politics. And for the first time in my life, I will be voting exclusively Republican. And here's Jackson Hinkle like, hey, yeah, cool. Like,
all right.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Fuck vax mandates, bro.
It really, it's made me, ironically, full circle from like, horseshoe theory is real to like when I was in college, it was like horseshoe theory isn't real. That's an oversimplification. I 100% think horseshoe theory is real again. And I think Twitter is bearing it out in real time and people like Jackson Hinkle. I know their reasons are different, but ultimately if you're voting for Republicans, like it's the same fucking outcome, dude. Like Jesus Christ. I don't know.
And the thing is, I'm not sure I believe him. I don't think he's going to vote for, maybe he will, but he also like, I also just genuinely like if half of your content is about vaccine mandates and you are fully vaccinated and have posted your vaccine card to the internet, you don't believe the shit you're saying. You are not that concerned about making sure other people get vaccinated. You're doing it because it's a hot topic which gets clicks.
I can offer some insight here. Having run a Instagram account with about 100,000 followers for about a year, I would just post shit that like I knew was wrong or I knew was like objectionable or I knew was like stupid and dumb because I knew it would get people riled up. It's so easy. And it wasn't my account, to be fair. I was doing it for a business. Yeah. But it's but once you start seeing those clicks coming in and you start like you start doing like you do a little trolling and then all of a sudden it's the biggest post you've ever made and it's like fuck, maybe we should just keep doing this because this is what's getting the people in. The incentive structure is so bad and so backwards, and it's not because of like it is not really even, well, it is a social media problem, but deeper than that, it's a people problem of just like how our psychology seems to work. That just like we're so just drawn to controversy that it's just so easy to exploit that you end up with Jackson Hinkles of the world.
Yeah, I think we also desperately, it's some of it's ego driven too. Like I think that's a lot of what's going on with Joe
100%.
Rogan. Like I don't like the dude. I don't think he's necessary. He's not a bad faith actor in the way that Tucker Carlson is. No. But he's like it's like the dude like wants to be. it's the same shit which somewhat on some level drives his like keto thing. It's like this like it's sort of a
You want
toxic masculine trait that comes out a lot of the time where it's like we've got X field figured out and the masses have it wrong and look at me like everyone else is lying to you but I've done my research.
It's the thing. It's this addictive feeling of riding the razor's edge of controversy, and once you start it, you can't stop. There's a lot of kind of like factors that intersect and that vector that makes up the razor's edge, depending on the case we're talking about there. But like, regardless of that, it's you want to be just like skirting on the edge of controversy that's like so bad it almost like blows up in your face.
Yeah.
But not quite so bad. But if you can avoid that just barely, like it'll skyrocket you.
Yeah. And I was thinking about this the other night in my head, right? Like if I wanted to, I think that if for some, for whatever reason, if I had like I don't know, no choice somehow in this thought example, but to become a millionaire, I have to become a fucking millionaire within a year or something, or else I don't know, I'll get cancer or something. I don't fucking know. The way I would do it is I would go all in on YouTube and Twitch and make like videos, like 3 videos a week would be targeting Hassan and why Hassan's an idiot. The other 3 are like Steven Crowder, where I'm just going after the biggest channels imaginable who have differing views and somehow find some way to like word salad my way into an argument where it's like they're both fucking wrong and I've got it right.
Yeah.
And that's just what I would do. And I would just pump out nonstop content. And I think I could blow up. And eventually people would start being, I don't like this person. I don't like that person. People will start to fucking follow. And then you'll make a fuck ton of money. I mean, I don't want to do that. One, because like it sounds like even if I'm putting in the work to doing like a political show or some shit, like where I'm just saying all shit that I actually believe, like it's too much effort for me. It's not actually something I want to go all in on. But I also I couldn't go all in on, I don't think I could go all in on saying shit I don't believe if I didn't have to. Maybe I could. I don't know. Maybe I'd get lost in it. But like I think it's so easy to do, and like people just get addicted to it, and then like I think it's I don't know.
It
it's
tempts
bad.
you every day. It's like the turning to the dark side, and you gain unlimited power, and you could do it. I mean, that's the thing, right, dude? Is like you're the demographic. Like you've got all this shit going for you, where you actually could pull it off if you wanted to. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I fucking could. I've got good enough fucking microphones. I've got some fucking foam. I could place a fucking camera in front of it
right now.
Yeah, and I could just be, welcome to the, I don't know. I need to come up with some weird word. The showdown with Chris Lehman, whatever the fuck. No, I don't care about my last name being out there. It's just you, me, and Nick listening. And if some point in the future we have listeners and they go back to episode 14 to find my last name, then good for them. And they can dox me online for all I fucking care. Whatever. I don't know. If I get fired from my job I haven't named any of them, though. I don't think I would get in that much trouble.
No, I think
someone would have to put in a lot of work to like figure out all the shit I've said.
Put in a lot. Yeah, I think
who the fuck
we're
wants to put in that much work?
Yeah, I think we're all right. Yeah.
There was a female. This is just a quick side note. There was a female cop who started an OnlyFans with her husband, and she got fired from the force for it.
Dude, that's ridiculous. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's right. I think it's wrong, and I think people are pussies for not.
I think
because basically they're like, we're uncomfortable working with her now. It's like, oh, fuck off. I mean, based off of the description, I listened to it on like the radio show I listened to on the way to work. Mm-hmm. She was like pretty old and very not good looking. So like I could see how it would be really hard to watch and like be weird to go to work with her the next day. But that's not the fucking thing you should get fired for. If she's willing to just own up to the fact that everyone at work knows she has an OnlyFans with her husband and she's fine with it, then like let her just fucking do it. Who cares?
Such a Chad move, honestly. I mean, like, come on. Like, haven't you ever been to college? Like, you got to go to fucking class and do group projects with people who you've had, like, weird sexual encounters with all the time.
Yeah.
That's just life, dude.
Yeah, dude. Cops are fucking pussies.
Cops are pussies.
Did you see? What's her name? Susan Sarandon, something.
I don't even know.
Do you know who you're talking about?
No, I don't know.
Susan something. It's like Sarandon or Sarsden or something. I don't know. She's like some. I don't know. She's one of those people on Twitter who likes her bio is like mom period activist period.
Oh wait, no, that. Maybe I know. Maybe I do know. Who this
it's
is.
Something
keep talking. I'll figure it out. Yeah.
But yeah, did you see her? She's like a huge like Bernie person, so I fuck with her. But she says shit that's like so blunt that it's like not even like Bernie could retweet it. But did you see her tweet the other day? It was like after that cop in New York City died in the line of duty. In the line of duty. He answered the call.
He answered the call of duty.
Yeah. The entire fucking police force spent a day doing their whatever like funeral shit where they like, I don't know, shoot all their guns in the air and like do their salutes like soldier down. So like whatever the fuck. She tweeted, she's like, so if all the cops in New York City aren't needed for 6 hours, then why do we actually need all the cops in New York City? And people lost it. People got so fucking
I did
mad.
See that, dude. That was funny.
I think that's hilarious.
And did you see the one guy who was like, maybe there could be a super secret reserve force of elite cops? Like, way to go. Like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's maybe they're all in their own way. They're just a fucking group of fucking losers. How about that?
Dude, what if every organization is just a group of losers?
Yeah, that is true. That is fundamentally very true. I don't know. I mean, whatever. The whole like cop narrative in the country is fucking terrible.
Forget cops. I think we need. Well, I mean, don't forget cops, ACAB, but also I think we need to remember that every organization is just made up of people, and when you touch butts in a dive bar with the CEO of a $10 billion company, you kind of start to realize that like, oh, like we're all just meat sacks who are like fucked up idiots and no one really knows what they're doing.
Yeah, well, that's where like this applies to everything, but no one someone needs to explain this to people, right? There's a difference between criticizing a goddamn organization and saying that an organization is fundamentally X and saying every member of that organization is X. But no one can understand this fucking saying that police are a fundamentally like broken and flawed and violent and systemically racist and this, that, and the other thing. The force is that. But not every member is, and a lot of members actually join it for good intentions. Like people can't wrap their minds around both those things being true.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
And it's just, like you get lost. There's no conversation to be had if people can't understand that difference, and no one fucking does.
Yeah,
it's the same shit with in the NFL. This really goddamn good black coach who got fired from the Miami Dolphins this year for winning. The owner wanted them to tank, and he refused to do it. The owner offered him $100,000 for every loss.
Why would he want him
and
to
he
tank?
said, because you get higher draft picks.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, fuck no, I'm a coach, I'm going to win. So he won, and he won the final 9 games of the season, and they fired him. And then he goes and interviews for the New York Giants job and a couple other jobs and doesn't get it. And he had interviewed for jobs in the past and hadn't gotten them and had felt like his experience was that he hadn't been taken seriously. And there's a rule in the NFL that you have to, every time you hire, I don't know if it's just head coaches or maybe coordinators, whatever, you have to interview a person of color.
Yeah.
So
My mom was telling me about this.
he felt like basically he was brought. Basically, he had this is actually funny. He had a texting exchange with Bill Belichick.
Yes.
Where Bill Belichick didn't realize who he was texting and was texting. Bill Belichick thought he was texting the white guy who had already been, basically the Giants had decided he was going to be the next coach and was saying like, congrats on the job. Like you're their guy. And he was actually texting this guy, Brian Flores or something. And he's like, oh, I haven't interviewed yet. Like, what do you, like, thanks, but what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and he has the wrong Brian, right?
Yeah, because they're both Brian. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So anyways, so it started this whole shit. And so he sues the NFL, right? And basically saying like, this probably means I'm never going to get another head coach or another job in the NFL ever again. But it's about damn time that we start to not just like say it on like TV shows, but just like actually really fully confront the fact that in a league which is like, I don't even know, 70-80% black or something, and 1 out of 30 coaches are black, there's something very fundamentally fucked up.
Yeah.
And we need to like start talking about this in a more serious way. And so he's suing. And I don't know if there's any, but like these fucking people on Twitter, man. And the Giants today like hired a black defensive coordinator, and everyone's like, "Ugh, I thought the Giants were racist." You fucking liberal idiots. They hired a black guy. Look at that, bro. Oh my God. Yeah. So it's the same. It's the same exact shit that no one can fundamentally understand the difference. And God, it just drives me. And people will say, the other thing that people will say online all the time that drives me bonkers on that specific one, they'll be like, well, you don't hear us complaining about the lack of white representation at the running back position.
Like, and it's my God, dude. Like,
yes, because we all fundamentally understand that the owners don't, the power dynamic between a coach and like management class and the players, you have to, one, recognize that distinction, and that power structures are all about keeping like certain groups of people in the managerial positions. And then you've got the athletes on the field who you go and fucking try and rip them off for as much as you can, try and pay them as little as you can to go break their bodies for you and whatever. And they're just like entertainment. It's like, you know, making like, I don't know, making slaves or whatever, like fight to the death for entertainment and that kind of shit. Like that's not exactly inclusion. But also the other thing they're doing without realizing it is because the reason no one says anything about that is because there's a shared understanding that for whatever reason, black people tend to be faster. And so they are disproportionately, and there is something random about it at play. And maybe it's not random. I'm sure there's some explanation for it, but just for the sake of conversation, it's essentially random because race is a contract, this, that, the other. It would be like saying, like, you know, if 29 out of 30 running backs had blue eyes or something, like it would be like, okay, well, I guess it must just be the case that for whatever fucking reason, people with blue eyes tend to be faster. Whatever, that's not. But there's a shared and common understanding that, like, okay, yeah, it's not because there is no one thinks that there is any effort to hold back white people from being running backs. Yeah, it's just that black people are better at it. So when you use that as an analogy, you are justifying you are saying that the reason that 29 out of 30 coaches are white is because white people are disproportionately better at coaching.
Which is a fucked up statement to make.
Which is a really fucked up statement to make. And I mean, just like remarkably right. But I see it all the time. Like no one, I don't know how people don't.
You know what that makes me think is that no one has actually worked in a large organization before who's making these comments. And I know that sounds very vague, but when you work in a big company or like a large organization, like for example, an NFL team, you realize that talent does not actually necessarily always rise to the top. Sometimes you just get like well-connected fuck-ups who like play the game well and like have connections and have money. And people are like, yeah, like he's a great guy. And like they just rise to the top just like despite the fact that they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. It's just.
And there's also a very massive element of truth. Like there's so many villains in TV shows, right? Like the fucking psychopath in Mr. Robot is a great example of this, where there'll always be some villain who will have some quote that goes something like this. Like, most people think that power comes with brains or strength or something. Really, power comes down to those who are willing to do anything to get it. And I think that there's like a massive element of truth to that, where it's just like the fucking white guy who's never been told no in his life and is willing to just keep pushing and just keep annoying the fuck out of people,
not in a good way,
without having to worry about being fired or not taken seriously. Just keeps fucking pushing his way through the door, and you'll fucking get there. I mean,
Which, if you like actually look around you at your coworkers and realize that like these guys are not the best of the best, except for me. I actually do work with the best of the best.
The best of the best.
I genuinely do.
That sounded like a quote from a Marines commercial.
I have fooled them. But for most of you out there, people, I've fooled them into thinking that I'm the best of the best. Really, I'm just an idiot. But for most of you out there, you know, you look around and it's like these people are not that good at what they're doing. Like straight up.
No. Yeah. There's a lot of people in management who are fucking lazy dumbasses.
Yeah, dude.
And they're just like, they're just like, they're like kind of stupid, but in a way that works for them. They're just like happy-go-lucky stupid.
They just like make it work.
And not, a lot of them don't necessarily have bad intentions or anything.
No, I don't think they're bad people at all. But it's like we need to stop pretending that everyone in management is some kind of like strategic genius who can like see fucking 5 steps ahead and like could give like Magnus Carlsen a run for his money at like chess or whatever. Like most of these people, it's just like, they've managed to navigate the institution well enough that they've crawled their way to the top, regardless of their intelligence or not.
It's like Sam Cedar made this point really clearly the other day on his show. Did you see the Ted Cruz clip on? By the way, did you know that Ted Cruz and Daily Wire do a podcast together?
I did not. Is it really?
Yeah, Michael Knowles hosts it and like throws like softball questions to Ted Cruz. It's pretty remarkable. But they had one last week on Joe Biden saying he's going to nominate a black woman for the Supreme Court. And they did their fucking spiel and they're like, I find it offensive and Joe Biden is the real racist here because he's telling 94% of Americans you are not eligible. And Sam was like, and there's so many obvious reasons why that's dumb and stupid, but one of them being that Republicans are like just conservatives making similar-ish arguments regarding race issues are a lot of the time they're lying through their teeth, particularly for someone like Ted Cruz who has made it as far as he has. They're just fundamentally lying about this notion of like the best candidate always gets the job. And this idea out there that there is one justice in the entire country who is the best justice and that Joe Biden or that like the correct president would be able to find the one who is the best at judging and that person would be the one who gets nominated. No, it's about who you fucking know. And it's about goddamn connections. There are a bajillion judges who went to Yale Law School or whatever the fuck. It's about connections and having, agreeing with people politically. Like this notion that picking Supreme Court justice is it all about who's most qualified? Like at a certain point, when you're going for something like the Supreme Court, there are so many qualified actors that it's just about it's about all other factors that don't have anything to do with your judging ability, for lack of a better phrase. So it's yeah.
Like there's probably
ridiculous.
like 1,000 qualified candidates out there, maybe more. I don't know.
Maybe fucking more, considering that Ted Cruz, and like this isn't like unheard of. Like Ted Cruz was considered when Trump was president, and Ted Cruz, as far as I know, has never been a judge in his life. Like you can just be like a politician with a law degree. Like you've never have to have even been a judge before, and you can be nominated. And that's not necessarily wrong. I don't, I'm not one who. I don't know. I probably don't know enough about the norms of law to really be able to give a good educated guess as to whether or not
I'm a technocrat. If you haven't practiced law, you should not be on the fucking Supreme Court. No way. Get the fuck out of here.
Probably not. But also like, but I do think it's one of those things. I don't know. Law is like. Because there's so much of like, when you think about famous cases that have gone to the Supreme Court, right? It's a whole nother ball game from like a Joe Rogan like being an anti-vaxxer.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like my lack of a law degree does not mean that I'm not capable of coming up with an argument one way or another on like an affirmative action case that goes to the Supreme Court. They're just fundamentally different things, and it's just like. A lot of the time cases on the Supreme Court are like relatively simple, and it just comes down to like trying to people make it like, oh, you need to understand this, that, and the other thing about the law. And really what it is about, I don't know. It's not, I think probably you're right, but also like really what they're doing is just, they have a view on what they morally, ethically think is the right decision, and then they're just like looking for the right prior legal whatever
Yeah,
to back up
maybe.
their decision.
Yeah.
That's all being a lawyer is, and I think that's to some degree is all being a judge is, right? Because so much of it, a lot of if the nature of the job is that a lot of the time you have to argue for things that you don't necessarily agree with or things that you don't know are true, then it's just about, and that's not like an inherent criticism of the process. Like obviously we need legal representation in a fair system. But that is sort of the nature of the progress of the system. And so I don't know. It's a different thing. It would be like, I think it's a much more reasonable conversation to have than being like, okay, should the next person to replace Fauci, we could just elect a senator. It doesn't matter if they have a doctor, like a degree in science or medicine or not. Who cares? They've worked in fucking Capitol Hill, whatever.
Yeah,
They're different things.
I don't know if I 100% agree, but like I don't know enough about law to actually disagree with you. So, or to formulate an argument.
I think generally I think that there are enough people with experience that you could also that
like
you,
if the
you would think
selection pool was so bad that we
then maybe I think so I'm just saying I don't think it's like I think given the amount of people who we can choose or not that Joe Biden can choose from, there's no reason not to choose someone that has experience, of course. But I'm just saying I don't think it's a prerequisite in the same way that like being a doctor, like you have to have gone to medical school. Like they're just slightly different.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
Things.
Yeah.
And particularly also if you're a politician, you've worked so much with like legal documentation and reading through all that shit that I don't think it would be like the most impossible jump in the world. Like I guess my point is just someone who's never maybe been a judge before, I think could be a good Supreme Court justice. Like it's possible.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think it's possible.
I'll grant that it's within the realm of possibility. And I could be totally wrong there because I don't know anything about law. But yeah, sure. But yeah, versus...
It's sort of a meaningless conversation because we both are like, yeah, well, no, we should just pick someone.
Because
it's sort of
really
a meaningless
should.
thing.
Yeah,
It's a meaningless thing to point out, but I think it is worth pointing it out.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just think that there are certain fields and there's certain. It's like your job is to look at a disagreement between two parties and decide who's right.
Yeah.
On some level, like we are all capable of performing said task. It's just like who the fuck wants to read through every court case in the past.
Right.
Anyways, that's goddamn, that's fucking boring. What the fuck are we doing? Jesus Christ.
This is the most boring podcast ever. You need to drink more.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Jackson Hinkle and Joe Rogan and epic shit. We need to talk about fucking Stephen Breyer. What a ugh. But also Ted Cruz had like Michael Knowles of all people had a question for him that was like, what do you think that this means for the court now that Stephen Breyer's stepping down and Joe Biden's going to appoint a new justice? Is it going to be just like, a liberal replacing a liberal and same old? And it was like, for Michael Knowles, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of right. Like, that is what's going to happen. And Ted Cruz's response was like, no, this is like, nope. This is going to push the court further into the radical left. And I was like, what the fuck?
The radical left.
What the fuck are you talking about? There are currently 3 liberal judges on the court. What the goddamn fuck? And you guys, the Republican Party has found a way to not let. When was the last? So Obama appointed what? Sotomayor. How do you say her name? Sotomayor. Sotomayor. Is that right?
I'm not going to be able to correct you.
Sotomayor and Kagan, Elena Kagan.
Sounds right.
Maybe. And I think both of them happened in his first term. Like, I think Garland was his final year. Was it his final year before it was, no, it was his final year before he lost to Trump in 2016. So yeah, Republicans have basically successfully blocked the Democrat from appointing a judge since like 2010 or so.
Yeah.
So there are 6 conservative judges. Trump appointed 3 in 4 years. 3. And Ted Cruz is getting up there and say, I mean, whatever, it's kind of boring to like criticize Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham and shit because that's like everything they say is stupid. Yeah. But it just was one of those things where I was like, God damn, watching 5 minutes of this, like people consume this as news, man. Like
It's infuriating and kind of depressing, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to drink more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get nearly as drunk as I would have liked.
Dude,
Not
drink
bad
drink the whiskey, dude. It'll get you there. Nothing like it. Nothing like some rye whiskey to get you over the hill.
Yeah, I remember when I met my friend Apple the first night I went out when I moved down to Boston. She's a bartender, so I was asking her like, what should I order that'll make me not look like an idiot, and like what should I order that will, one, make me not look like an idiot, but two, not make me look like I'm like trying to be James Bond.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's just like, if you just ask for like something involving rye whiskey instead of like bourbon or like a martini or some shit, I'll be like, okay, yeah, you like, no, like you drink and you're not being pretentious and you're just asking. Like, she's like, even if you can just make that distinction, it'll like,
The
you'll
rye
be good.
versus bourbon.
Yeah, like if you can, like, don't show up and be like, give me whiskey ? Be like, no, just like give me, whatever.
What is your go-to order like when you go out to a bar?
Well, recently I've been getting drunk enough in order to save money, where I get pretty fucking drunk before I leave, and then I just order a beer when I get there.
Real talk. But assuming you're like balling out.
If money is not something I'm concerned about, I do.
Like, let's just say you're going to an open bar party.
Open bar. Well, I haven't tried enough drinks to like have like a cool answer, like something that would be like really expensive and taste really good. Mm-hmm. But like when a bar does it right, and I feel like bars a lot of the time add more sugar and use less alcohol, and maybe that's why I tend to like really fuck with it. But just like a good old fashioned, it just genuinely just tastes really good. But I almost always order something, and part of this is just because I'm hesitant to like come across as like not masculine. But I'm like, I'm always nervous to order something that doesn't involve whiskey.
Don't be nervous. Who cares?
No, I just don't have much experience. Like we didn't go to bars in college. It wasn't part of the scene.
That's true.
So,
I went to bars maybe 2 or 3 times.
I didn't go once.
Really?
No, not once. I never went to the whatever it was called.
You went to the brewery with like.
Okay, but that's not good. We went to the brewery at like 7 p.m. to order a beer.
Yeah,
yeah, like that's not going to a bar.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, that brewery was so that was.
It was an awesome vibe. I loved it, but like we were That was like going to a pub to get a beer.
Yeah.
That wasn't like
or hanging with the boys. It's
yeah,
not like,
so
it's not like going to a bar.
And certainly in high school, that wasn't the norm. When I was studying abroad in Spain, everyone just drank beer all night long. Mm-hmm. We just ordered the same. They had one beer that tasted phenomenal. And I think cerveza is like the Spanish word for beer. Do I have that right?
I have no idea.
I think that's right, because you would just go up to the counter and be like, cerveza, and they would just give you the one beer that everyone ordered because it was so fucking good. And just everyone got it. Was the same exact one. It was local to that region, so I never had to like choose. And yeah, I don't know. So I've been here for a couple weeks, and then this past summer living in Ann Arbor with the Noah. So the only times I've had like semi-regular experience going to bars.
Dude, what is the Noah order? That's my question.
He gets either a Long Island iced tea. He fucks around a lot with rum and cokes. But he also fucks a lot with just like finding like some like stupid colored drink just for fun. And it's not even so much like it's all about it's all coming from a place of conversation starters. So you buy a cool, colorful drink that has a funny straw, and it's like it's one more thing that could be a conversation starter.
Gotcha.
He doesn't
it's like the boar die like strategy of you show up with just like some weird fucking gimmick and just see what happens. But it worked every time.
Yeah, I mean the real trick is just like be fucking bored eye and like just talk.
Be hot and like 6'3" and very
be like
social.
6'3", very social, have tattoos. That's much more important.
Okay, he had
than showing up with a goddamn recorder.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll bleep that for bored eye. I won't.
Brody, if you're listening to this, we're calling you out, dude.
Yeah, actually, bored eye would not give a fuck.
No, he wouldn't care.
He wouldn't
like in fairness, it did work, but.
Oh yeah, no.
It was super goofy.
He fucked
that's
only second to the Noah.
But that's a perfect example of knowing exactly who you are and just playing to your type.
Yeah, not be embarrassed about it.
Because like, I mean, I was never around him, and I was never like around him, and I never felt awkward. There was no act to it. He was just like being him. But like,
Yeah, no, that's why
dial up to
he
11.
was fucking great, and we needed more.
Yeah.
because I'll bleep that. But we attracted a lot of like, I mean, I only said the first Greek letter, so
It's
could
fine.
get away with it. But
Our fake fraternity.
yeah, our fake fraternity. You won't be able to find us. But yeah, I mean, we attracted a lot of people like you and me who, well, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, but we're not like, we don't walk into a room of 30 people and be like, "Hi, I'm here. Let me talk to all of you."
I'm gonna
like,
go out on a limb here. To my credit, I think if I was single, I think I could have become that guy.
you are way more that guy than me, and like way more. So you do have that. You're way more willing than me to like sit, like to just approach a group of people and be like, "Here's a hot take," and just sort of like not scream it, but like conversation starter, and just like go. But yeah, we needed more people like that, and he was great at that. One of the things I loved so much about him was just, for me at least, whenever I was in, it didn't matter the group of people who I was with. If he was there, then there was never an awkward dynamic. Like things just felt like there was always just like a natural conversation or something. Yeah, and people, that's not me at all. And it would be a little much if everyone was like that. But
this is a fucking rallying cry for tonight. This is what
we're gonna be.
This is what we're gonna be. This is what I'm gonna.
I don't have any glow sticks to show up with or a fucking recorder.
You don't need a gimmick. You've got your fucking
show up with my.
You're showing up in your Lacoste rugby shirt. Like, we're all good, dude. That's enough of a conversation starter.
Yeah, I didn't realize that this was like some snobby brand until I was wearing it for like a long time.
It's because you live in a pretentious town. It's okay. I do too.
Well, no, I bought it with.
Gotcha.
And she's like, "Yeah, that'll be nice." And I was like, "Okay, sure." It was like at one of those like used, or not used, but like, well, I guess used, but the fucking the stores where you like bring them your clothes and sell them and then they resell them and all that.
Yeah.
So I bought it for, I don't know, $20 bucks. And I was like, it's a nice, it's soft. It sure feels soft.
It's soft.
And I can unbutton it when I get drunk and actually I'm not like self-conscious. And it's cool. And it's different. But yeah, and then recently I realized that I was like, ooh, I like the alligator. It reminds me.
I love alligators.
It reminds me of Florida.
Awesome.
I do like going to Florida. Because when I go to Florida, I feel like a real American. Just like Dave Rubin.
Oh, gosh. Dude, we should go to Florida and see David.
We should go to Florida.
I'm
very down to go to pick a. What sucks is like I don't want to go over the summer. But we should pick a time and we should hit up the NOAA and be like, yo, see when the NOAA's on break, take a weekend off from work and just go somewhere.
So, how do you feel about going to Cleveland to see Gabe's comedy show, and then we could head up to Ann Arbor potentially?
Which weekend is it?
I think it's like March 12th.
So the only thing for me is because, so I started my new job like a month ago or so, whatever, and my employer lost the contract. Whatever. We won't go into the whole fucking shit. My employer lost it, so there's a new employer coming in, so I'm going to be hired by a new company in about a month. So I'm not eligible for benefits for another 100 days after that.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure if I'll have any vacation time.
Gotcha.
So I'll see. I'm going to try and work my magic.
What if we went just for the weekend? Like we flew out like Friday night.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right.
But I do kind of want to, well, whatever. It'll be too late. I mean, by the time I'm eligible to like go on a fucking vacation, it'll be summer and then I won't need to go anywhere warm. But
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe like next fall or I don't know. Well, we should hit up the NOAA. Well, I don't know how much time you get off from work and I don't want to make you take time off.
I have unlimited time off and I work remotely.
Okay. Well, I think here's what we should do. Once I'm eligible for my vacation or whatever, I'll take, because I think I get 2 weeks a year. We'll take like a week over the summer or some shit where Noah's schedule is very light and just go to Ann Arbor and just do a week straight of drugs.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Doesn't that sound awesome?
Like do a little bit of work during the day, like it'll be fun.
Yeah, you can. The Noah grinds during the day.
So if I just like grind during the day,
it's grind time during the day at the Noah's apartment. I that was the schedule this summer. I'm responsible for distracting the cat, so the cat doesn't distract the Noah from grinding.
Dude, that apartment had fucking chaotic energy.
That apartment was
hilarious.
A weird vibe. I loved it. I mean, I was like depressed as fuck, but I loved it. It was so funny. I wish you had come when there was literally no furniture. And we were sitting on the ground with one piece of furniture. It's a fucking TV stand and a giant ass TV. And we have to sit on these tiny stools to watch the TV.
Incredible.
It was so goddamn uncomfortable.
Dude, wild. That was a crazy experience and like Trevor was there. It was like everyone is here. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so Trevor, I hadn't seen him in like a year and a half. And it was just like, oh, hey, Trevor. And we like talked a ton and then just said nothing the morning after and then haven't spoken a word to each other since. That's the sign of a good relationship,
That's
right?
a good relationship.
Do drugs together once a year and then don't talk.
Dude, I miss Trevor. He's a classic.
I do miss Trevor, but Trevor's only good for me when I'm doing okay. Because Trevor is a...
Yeah, I can see that.
Trevor's a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't say that... Trevor, I know you're listening. That's
No,
not meant to be a bad thing.
Trevor
but it's the
knows
same
he's
thing
a
for
lot.
me. It's the same thing for
self-aware
me.
enough, yeah.
If someone else is in a bad place, I don't think my energy is right for
Yeah.
them. I don't think so. Like, people who also are like a little... There's a little... I don't know. There's so much similar.
That's
between the two of us.
why you and I sent each other into a death spiral junior year.
Yeah, that was a pretty epic year.
It wasn't bad, but I don't know.
It was like simultaneously incredible and terrible. There was no day that was neutral. It was either really fucking good, like first ever girlfriend, living on the hall with my fraternity, going fucking hard, partying my ass off, being one of the better players in the fucking club hockey team. Like, there was so much positive shit for me, and then there was like, oh my god.
The lows were so low and the highs were so high.
The junior year was the first time and only time in my life I've been so anxious and stressed that I had to drink myself to sleep. But that's because I didn't have weed available or didn't realize it was available.
I should have done more. Damn.
Well, I would steal your... I'm owning up to this now, so it doesn't actually mean anything, but I would steal your vodka a couple times when like shit was bad with X.
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry
And
about
just
it.
like take like shots and try and go to bed.
That's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It was like a $15.
It was a $15 handle. Like I had a job. I was financially solvent. It was
Yeah. Well, speaking of booze, I got to put down the fucking microphone and start drinking. So,
All right.
is there a time to end this? I know it hasn't been the best pod ever.
Well, they're gonna hit. They're gonna miss. I think this
Yeah.
was adequate.
Yeah, it's adequate.
Dude,
All right, we're
next time
pausing.
we'll
I
get
got to get
Nick on.
drunk.
How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good.